I think that's something that I think I try to pick apart a lot of where that ends and begins of not relying on someone to feel like home, but also to understand that we as human beings are supposed to have connection. We're not supposed to be alone.
Right.
We're not supposed to live on this planet by ourselves. And I've actually never shared this before, but I feel compelled to, I guess, now. But my dad has been dealing with Alzheimer's for a really long time. And my dad and I are like probably the closest of my family. And to have him like sort of over the past 10 years, you know, to the point now where he's not really, there is no like physical touch in that way. There is no like home in that way. And to like have the gift of grieving it in a slow process has been really beautiful. Of like, I get to like realize what I love about him and appreciate each thing in these tiny little moments that then get lost.
Yeah.
And although it's quite sad, it's so much better of a gift than it happening suddenly.
Sure.
But I really have to be careful about that when I deal with other people, because I feel like I'm losing something. And so I try to make up for it with other people. Like I try to be like, I'm losing this thing. So like I have to, you know, and trying to like differentiate that has been really interesting because I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see
it.
the
You're
like
grabby. I'm
yeah.
That
And
makes perfect sense.
It does. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people, you know, and it's really interesting when I get really honest about it too, because there's so many people that have gone through this with their parents or grandparents, and it's just so everywhere, and it's a baffling disease to witness. But it's, I think, really, really interesting and beautiful to get to see someone still there, but in a different version of themselves.
Wow.
That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot. It is.
But it's, I mean, I'm doing the thing again, but I'm like, everyone has something like this. You know?
You are doing the thing.
You are doing the thing. I know.
It's okay. You're allowed to do the thing.
But
it is like, no matter what the effect that has on a family and you as the daughter. And
Wait, do you have siblings?
Yes, I have a half brother and a half sister.
I thought you had, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
On your dad's side?
On my dad's side, my dad was married before. But yeah, I think to your point too, there's like that need for that man sort of like safety, because I don't have that anymore. And trying to still find that within myself, and also find it in like friendships and work relationships, and not putting that on a partner either.
That's hard.
But still navigating the fact that I deserve and want a partner, you know, that's okay. You can make that person your home.
Right.
You said it perfectly. It's like really differentiating where that starts and stops.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is the hardest part. Because you're like, I want this, and I want to give myself permission to have it, crave it, but I don't want to be dependent on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
And I don't want my happiness and well-being to be contingent upon that.
Yes, that's the word.
Yeah.
The contingent of happiness on another person. And I think that's what I did with Parachute. My movie I directed was trying to find that, the way of describing that feeling and how it goes to the opposite side, where it's like falling in love with someone is so pure and necessary and needed. But then when you take it to the next level, where you become addicted to saving each other in a way of not knowing where you and this other person begin and end, that's the codependency angle that I think is really hard to differentiate. And I think a lot of people get very confused.
Right.
And I know I was. And
It's confusing.
It is confusing.
And also so romantic. Because it's like that type of love where you're like, oh, you know, and all the movies glorify it.
Of course.
So,
And growing up watching those things, like I am such a sucker for all of that stuff.
Mhm.
Like I want that movie. I want him to show up at my house fucking blaring music or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
You know? But then it's like a fantasy. A lot of it. But it's true. And I definitely am guilty of like finding happiness from what I get from the guy I'm with, you know? I mean, I say that pre-kid, you know, because that's like a different thing. And having my daughter, obviously, that fills a lot of things. But I'm still guilty of it.